Well, hello there, Twitchland. I'm Retro Gamer Rob from Second Quest Productions. It's been a while since I've been on Twitch. I was going to try something different tonight, so we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to mod a Game Boy Color and put a backlight on it, is what I'm going to be doing. Before I get into that, though, I need to send an apology to my partner, Jack. I have totally been slacking with the streams. This was supposed to be a partnership, and it has not been up until this point. So I'm promise I'm going to try to start streaming more. Things have calmed down a little bit at the store, so I definitely want to help him out more than what I have been. So, Jack, I am sorry. I'm going to do better. So, tonight, like I said, we're going to mod a Game Boy Color. Now, for those of you who do not know, the Game Boy Color was not backlit when it came out originally. So you either had to have like one of those snake lights that plugged into the side of the unit, or be in a perfect lighting situation to see the screen. Technology has come along pretty far these days, where they make backlight kits that are relatively easy to install. One of which that I will be doing tonight. So before we start taking the old Game Boy apart, I'm going to cover what's in the new one, or the new shell we're putting in. The only thing I've done up until this point, besides take the stuff out of the box, is test the screen. They're handheld Legend. These out of the way, so I have to bear with with the camera here. But got the kits from Handheld Legend. Very good website. I've ordered plenty of stuff from them. Very good products, very reasonable prices. Free shipping over like $90 or something, which doesn't seem to be a problem with me. The first thing they recommend, though, is always testing the screens before you try putting them in. And I think they do this just because a lot of people jam the screens into the Game Boys and then break them and then say, oh, it was defective before I tried to put it in. So it's just their way of avoiding broken stuff and having to replace unnecessary things that weren't necessarily bad. So with that being said, this is the shell we're going to use. I got this off of the Handheld Legend website. It was $35. It includes the glass screen protector, which also goes with Charizard. It's got part of his head on it. Again, sorry with the camera here. It's got the buttons. It's got a new set of pads too, which is awesome. And then in the battery compartment here, we have so it's the IR sensor, set of screws, and then the power switch. So we're just going to set most of this stuff aside for now. I'm going to get these buttons out of here, since we're not going to need the tape on here anymore when I get done. And as I'm going along, if anybody wants to chime in, hello, Gotham Kitty, how are you? You were the first one to comment. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? How are you today, buddy? I got those caps in, so we can fix your Game Boy Color up now. So thank you guys so much for tuning in too. I really appreciate it. And I will be streaming again tomorrow in a more traditional sense. Tomorrow's Mario Day, and I'm going to do what probably everyone else is going to be doing on Twitch, and that is playing a Legend of Zelda game. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be playing a Mario game tomorrow, but probably something you haven't seen. So I'm looking forward to it. I never was able to stream this game before because it's a hack or a homebrew, whatever you want to call it, and I did not have the right setup to do that. But tomorrow, I finally got my cables from Castlemania, and I'm going to do it up. So, all right. So I took the buttons and the pads out of the shell. Set the Pokemon Charizard shell away. Going with the Game Boy here, the Game Boy Color. So this was traded in at the store. The screen flickers on it, so it's definitely defective. Those of you who know me, I am quite the preservationist. I prefer to not destroy perfectly good pieces of history. This case is just that. It's the screen's flickering. So, hey Jess, how's it going? And that's awesome. Just give me a heads up. I'll have the caps at the store, and then I can start. So, tools will kind of cover as I go through this. But to take a factory Game Boy Color part, there's 6 screws, and you need the tri-wing. Get that on camera here, and it's like a Phillips, but it's only three blades. So there's 6 screws, one here, one here, one here, one here, here, and here. So I'm gonna pop those off quick. Hoping this camera setup works. If you guys need me to adjust anything, just let me know. I've never done anything like this on stream before, so. This particular kit that I'm putting in, it does not require any soldering, and it does not require any modding of the shell. So like I said, I paid about $35 for that Pokemon shell. It came with the glass screen protector and all the buttons and stuff. They have other models that are more bare bones. They start at like $10, and then you can buy the shell, different colored buttons, all that stuff separate. This one was kind of a kit, and the reason I'm doing this one is because actually we're going to be raffling it off at the store for Extra Life charities. So once I get this done, assuming it turns out, it'll be at the store, and we'll start selling raffle tickets probably later this week or next week. Alright, so cover comes off, right? Screws are going in the metal dish, so I don't lose them because I'd like to hang on to them. And then once we got that off, quick overview: your speaker, battery terminals, cartridge slot, ribbon cable goes around to the front to the screen, your power button, volume knob, IR sensor, which we're going to have to use this one because the one that comes with the screen, or with the Charizard kit, is not clear, and I'll explain why we need that later on. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But anyways, now we have 3 screws to get the board out of here. One here, one here, and one here, and these are Phillips, so you gotta change out the bit. The power button fell out of there, which is fine. 2 of the screws came out. Here's one of them, I guess. There we go. Alright, so with that, then the next thing we're going to have to do, I'm going to turn it up facing me just so you guys can see this a little bit better. This is where the ribbon cable plugs into the motherboard. It might be kind of hard to see for you guys, but there's 2 black tabs right here. I'm just going to push those tabs towards the camera with my fingernails, and then that unleashes the, lets the ribbon cable loose. So then when I lift this out and kind of pull it away, do this so you can see it here. Come on, we didn't pull them far enough. There. Okay. So that's pretty much it for disassembling it. You know, we could certainly reuse these pads, reuse these buttons if you want. I found that the buttons that come with the kits are almost identical to the ones Nintendo used. So I'm just going to take these out and just set them aside for now so they don't get lost somewhere, and maybe someday down the road I'll reuse them. And then the top half of the Game Boy is done. We can set it aside. And then on the front here, this was the front that was facing this. All I'm going to do real quickly is just kind of grab a couple Q-tips and just clean the contacts, clean the cover of the speaker. They tend to collect dust. Rubbing alcohol works good for this. Otherwise, any common household cleaner, as long as it's not used in abundance and leaks all over the motherboard. But I figure since we have it apart, we might as well clean it up, make it all nice, so it will be good to go for someone. And then, you know, if I was going to reuse the pads or the buttons, I would also clean those out too. Since we're just going to use the ones that came with the Charizard kit, I'm just going to leave well enough alone. And then the only other thing I want to do quick is clean the contacts on the cartridge slot. And I do this with pretty much any system, SNES, 64. Take an old piece of insurance card, right? It's a little bit thicker plastic, more durable than just paper, and a piece of t-shirt. Your wife probably yells at you if you cut up a good one, like she did with me. And then just put a little alcohol on it. That's a little too much. Just enough to get the cloth damp. And then, so I'm just going to slide it in and kind of up and down. Never go left to right when you're cleaning a pin connector, otherwise you could bend the pins, and then you would have a problem with it reading games. So this Game Boy seemed to be in pretty good shape, so I'm not really worried about the contacts being dirty. I'm good. I wouldn't say that. This is like the 3rd one I've done, so definitely not an expert at it. Alright, so now that that's done, the board is ready. We had some when I tested it. It was just the screen on this one that was acting up. So we can step this way, and then we're going to step over to the Charizard kit and start prepping it for the screen. So could put the buttons in, but the first thing we want to do is put the screen protector in, and then I should show you the screen. This is the screen. It also comes with it's like a motherboard that needs to plug into it. This is a this little piece right here is a brightness control. which ties into why we have to have a clear IR sensor port, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. And then the other things that comes with these are just like an anti-static piece of plastic. Ooh, cable sliding around here that we put on the back of the screen and the back of the motherboard. And then they also include some 3D printed brackets to help center the screen. I found that these are a little bit floppy, so I will show you what I do to tighten that up when the time comes. So first things first is, I hate this part, this is like my least favorite part, is we have some 3M adhesive on the back of this screen. I'm going to peel this off, and then the center here obviously does not have adhesive on it, otherwise we wouldn't be able to see out the window. I'm going to peel this off and then stick it to the case, and hopefully this goes smooth, because like I said, I hate this part. I'll try to do it on camera so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. It's just the so you can see it's not peeling off the middle part, which I've found on almost every Game Boy I've done. What I can do is grab an X-Acto knife and just kind of get it under there and lift up, and then that should, yeah, here it comes. Okay, so there. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing there, but so then I should really be pulling the middle part out first. And for the most part after this, it's pretty smooth sailing. So should have left it the way I had it the first time. Alright, there we go. Alright. Didn't stab myself with the X-Acto knife, which is awesome. So okay, that's off. And then this just goes on the front. Adhesive should be ready to grab, so trying to not get the plastic screen cover here pinched underneath. Alright, and there we go. Just kind of massaging that in a little bit, make sure the adhesive's grabbing to the case, and that will be locked in. I'm sure I mentioned this, but what's awesome about this is it's a glass screen protector, so no more scratches like the plastic ones that came with the Game Boys back in the day. Octo Chris, how is it going tonight? Yeah, cutting up shirts it's a guy thing, right? Like, I try to get rid of my old ones, but sometimes it's like, well, that one's here, so I don't really wear it enough, let's cut it up. So the screen protector's on. I'm going to leave this face down because I'm a very obsessive compulsive person when it comes to dust under the screen. It drives me freaking nuts. So having it face down means nothing's going to fly in there while I'm getting the screen ready. So getting back to this, I will put the motherboard, or attach the motherboard to the screen in a little bit. It connects here. This brown part just lifts up, cable slides in, it snaps down. And then, but I'm going to put it in there first. So the screen goes in. I guess it's time to flip it over already. So, so yeah. So the screen goes in like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to peel. This also has a piece of adhesive on, or not adhesive, just a protective covering on here. I'm going to peel that off, slide it on there quick. That way the screen's kind of locked off from getting any dust or garbage in there. And I'm just gonna, it's just gonna sit in here loose for now. Got a piece of my mat in here, but it should be fine. I'll get it out of here quick. It's on the back side, so there we go. All right, so next up is the brackets. Pretty straightforward. One just goes down here. Should go down here. So I have the screen in wrong. Or does it go over here? Maybe it goes on this side. Yep, there we go. Okay. So that one goes there, and then the straight piece just goes on the other side. And this one actually is fitting a lot snugger than my other cases that I've bought from them. Usually there's a little bit of a rattle to them. So there. So yeah, so screen's in there now. I wouldn't like swing it around or anything, but you can flip it over, and it's a little off center, but this one does not have any gap that I could slide. Usually I slide a piece of the same kind of insurance card that I used to clean the cartridge slot. You can slide that in there, and sometimes it snugs it up, but this one's actually really snug already. So I don't know, I can definitely try cut a little piece of it off here. So this is a TFT screen. The IPSs require you to shave the housing here all the way around, and then also cut the front of the screen out. It's a lot more work, and then the ones that I've been using, you can actually solder connections to the select A/B button, so you can pull up like an on-screen display to adjust brightness, color, all that stuff. It's got a battery indicator, but I'm not sure how to hook that up yet. I have not seen a video or any idea on how to do that. So, all right, let's one more little piece here. But from what I've seen, the quality of the TFT displays, whoops, there's some games, has been pretty much awesome. Like, I got no complaints. I think we're gonna say forget about that tonight. So, all right, so screen in place, looking pretty good. Next up is going to be putting the first piece of backing on here. This one says attach this insulating film to the metal surface on the back of the LCD. Pretty straightforward. This is just to keep things from shorting out. I could have done this before I put the screen in. Doesn't really matter. And then put the other one on the back of the motherboard right away. Alright, so then from here, the next step is going to be connecting the motherboard to the screen. Try to do it so you guys can see. Just lifting up, and then this fits in. I've already got the brown lever flipped up, or whatever you want to call it. Once it slides in, again, always being gentle with this stuff. It's ribbon cables. It's fragile to begin with. So once you flip down, you can feel it kind of grab, locks in. And then from here, it's folded up, and then fold it like this. And now we have the screen installed. So it's probably going to flop around a little bit. That's fine. We'll get the buttons ready, and then once we're ready to close it up, we can fold it the way it's supposed to be. So from here, it's just putting the pads in. It's identical to working on a regular Game Boy Color. Usually helps if you put the D-pad in first. Start the select buttons. Alright, so that's in there. So what I'm going to do now is connect the screen of the system. Then I'll probably put like 1 or 2 screws in that, just make sure I got everything hooked up right, turn it on, see if we've got a picture, and then I can finalize putting everything together. I have been running into some issues with these kits. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but the volume knob gets stuck on this little ledge, so I may have to take it apart and bend this back, but one thing at a time. We'll see what happens when we get there. Alright, so there's that. Again, make sure the black levers are up on the motherboard of the Game Boy. Goes in. Kind of awkward. Here we go. Better way to get my fingernail in there to close it off, or to close the clamps. Alright. Alright, so that's not sliding out like that, and like this, and lo and behold, it is starting to look like a Game Boy again. So the speaker kind of fell into place already. Sometimes they don't want to fall in the right spot. We can just do a quick flip here and kind of see what we're looking at. You can see the buttons are all in place where they should be. The gray is actually a little bit lighter than the ones that came with the original ones. So it actually looks really, really nice. Alright, so next up then is going to be putting the back on. Like I said, we need to put the IR sensor back on. Before we do that though, let's get the board put back down. So the screws that came with the system, wherever the heck I put them, I'll just dump them on the carpet here. These are all Phillips, which is nice, so I've just been using these so you don't have to go back to the tri-wing. And it's the same thing, it's the 3 screws on the bottom on the board to hold it in place. That's actually the wrong one. They are a little bit shorter than the ones that hold the case together. I think my other kits, the ones that go on the motherboard, have been silver, whereas these are all the same thing, they're just ones that are a little bit shorter than the other. Oddly enough, this one doesn't come with any extra screws either. All the other kits had one of each extra screw, but that's fine. Plenty of them laying around here if we lose one. Alright, so screen's in place, buttons are feeling good. If you've been gaming long enough, you know if the pads feel off. This does not. It actually feels really good. So next is going to be the IR sensor and then the power button. So this is the one that came with the kit. It's like a solid gray, which would be fine, but this kit uses a brightness adjuster. So I'm going to put the black one back in. It doesn't look like it's see-through, but it is, because it goes to the IR sensor, which they used back in the day for, I don't know what, communicating with other Game Boys, I guess. So this goes in. My fat fingers want to work right. Sorry, I have to take it away from the camera here to get it lined up. But I think after I get this in and the power switch, I'm going to try it out, make sure we're good. Otherwise, we're going to have to take it apart and mess with it. Put it in upside down. Is that what I'm doing? Might work. Okay. And then grab like a dental pick tool, or toothpick would probably work. And I'm just going to try to get this down in front of the sensor, which I think I have this in upside down. So let's go with... Sorry, my tools are like right by my microphones. I'm probably blasting you guys out of here when I grab something. Sorry about that. I think Pokemon games may have used that. Yeah, I think they did too. I was kind of out of handhelds by the time the Game Boy Color came out. The last handheld I owned was a... Game Boy Pocket, and then I was just, I don't know, just my gaming was probably at an all-time low at that point. Just an awkward thing. Also, I don't know if the case is, you know, a little bit moldedly different or something like that, which could be part of the problem too. All right, there we go. All right. It fits in there like super tight, so definitely not the same kind of mold as the original. All right, so I'm gonna get this the sensor down underneath that, hopefully, which doesn't want to go now because there we go. There. All right, and that should be pretty good. These things are oh, my nose is itching. Pretty sensitive. Like, they don't really have to be placed all that well to be working properly, is what I found. All right, so let's just test the screen quick before we go any further. So I'm just gonna set the battery, the back on here because it's got the other side of the prongs. I'll just kind of get it on here just enough to, yeah, I can stick some batteries in here, and then I didn't put the power switch in yet, but I can just use my pick tool and turn it on. So we'll see what we got here. Okay. So it's on, but it's not backlit, which is interesting. All right, why would that be? Let's just check this, and then we're going to try it one more time. If this doesn't work, then we're going to take it apart and look at things again. Yeah, nothing. Okay. So now we reverse everything we just did, which is just 3 screws at this point. This off. Just gonna look at a picture of my phone, make sure I got this on here right, but I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, it looks to be right. All right. This looked like it was off a little bit, but I don't think enough that it would have made a difference, but we can just try reseating it once. And then let's just do this. Instead of putting it together, we'll just fire it up like this once. Hey, look at that. So that cable must have been a little bit loose. Yeah, I reseat the plugs on the motherboard, John. I'll show you again what I did once I take this apart. Just goes to show how finicky ribbon cables can be, right? So let me get this off of here. Okay. So yeah, so let me flip this. So, oh, I lost my spacer too. Yeah, this one right here was not seated correctly, and it was must have been just enough where it wasn't making contact. But now the question becomes, where did my other spacer go? That's not good. Did I drop it? Or is it in the screen? Yep, it's in the screen. Okay. So let's try to put this back together now. I'm just going to flip the whole thing, get that ribbon cable out of the way. Cops are coming. I'm upstairs in my house, and like it was only 61 degrees today, but man, it's hot as heck up here. Alright, so screen's back in place. I'm gonna do the flip, and then the other flip, and then another flip after I put the select button and the start button back in. Alright, the battery back in. So that should, we'll have to retuck the sensor quick, but that's minor. So let's get a couple screws back in this guy and then test it one more time with all the cables being folded right, and then if that's good to go, then we can put the rest of it back together. The only other thing I'm going to be concerned about, like I said, is the volume wheel, but we can't really figure that out until we're ready to put it together. So again, just putting this IR sensor back down in there, or the touch sensor back in, which I can show you guys how that works as soon as I get this going again. Alright, so yeah. Alright, we're going to kill the light, and then so when I touch the IR sensor, oops, wrong side. Okay, so now it's off. There's 5 levels. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, it's very hard to see through the camera, but when you're looking at it, it makes a difference. So that's working now. So really, all we have to do is put it together. We're almost done. Alright, so take the case off one more time, make sure the board's in here properly. Obviously this is quite a tight fit because we're adding a whole nother board plus a thicker screen than what came with the system. It just takes a little finessing sometimes. This one is actually working out pretty well compared to some of the other ones I've done. So everything looks to be in correct order, so we're going to put the shell back on here. And you can kind of see, you know, if it's like in a gap there. There we go. So it always seems like there's more going on up front or up top. Obviously there is because of the screen. So I do these 2 screws first, and then I'll put one on the other side of the volume knob just to make sure. Sons of guns! They actually use a tri-wing on these, huh? Every other kit I've used, of course, those were more plain Jane kits. They used Phillips. And where did I put that? Okay. Oh, there it is, hiding under the adhesive backing for the screen. Which doesn't seem to be the right size either. So not only did they go back to tri-wing, a different size tri-wing apparently. Tri-wings you can get off of eBay. Otherwise, I got a nice little kit from Walmart. It was like 15 bucks. It's got like 150 pieces in it. It's designed for electronic repair. It's centered again for you. So it's got just about every bit you would ever need in there to take a game apart or a system apart. Quality remains to be seen. I haven't been using it that long, so I don't know how long it's going to last me. Alright, so we're going to put one more in here. Size this quick. And then we're going to check the volume wheel to make sure that's spinning freely. And if it is, we are on the home stretch. Actually, I forgot to put the power button in, so we're going to have to open this back up. And it is. It's spinning freely. So I'm going to take these out quick, throw the power switch back in, put it together. We should be good. They do have a bunch of different other cases too. I just thought the Charizard one looked the coolest. With the power button, here's your switch. That's on, that's off. It says it right on the board. You just want to make sure the little gaps in the power button go in between that switch, like so. And then, of course, you can try it before you put the board on. Okay. All right, I'm going to dump these screws out and then put it together. Once that's tightened down, that gap went away on the top, which is good. Obviously, if that gap was too big, I would not want to force it shut, or you could end up cracking the screen and then you'd be out $50, $60, however much you paid for it. Just check this quick. Yep, it's still spinning freely, which is awesome. 3 to go. You see the backlit DMG. I am working on one. I'm waiting for them to get the kits back in stock. So back before I opened the store, I was obviously doing this for my home, so I had a bunch of broken stuff, and I was looking in my garage yesterday, and I found a couple of Game Boys. And those are kind of weird when you do the original ones. You don't need, because there's two boards. There's one with the screen and the buttons, and then there's just a small one that does the batteries in the cartridge slot. You don't need the front one. The kits are the whole boards with the the buttons built in and everything, which is kind of cool because you use the it's either the contrast or the volume button to adjust like the different colors on the screen. So once they get those back in, I definitely want to try one of those. And if I can ever find a Game Boy Advance for a decent price, I would definitely like to try one of those too. So, all right, so it is together. I'm going to put some batteries in. Put the battery cover back on. Put some crystal. And then might as well just peel this off. All right. Alright, I'm going to turn the light off so we get the full effect, and hopefully we have a game. Going the wrong way with the volume. And then make sure the brightness still works. And then for comparison, I have my Game Boy Color with gold in it. This will just, well, yeah. That's as bright as they got back in the day. So. Yeah, no, and it's really not, and that's the thing. Part of the reason I started doing this was because for the longest time I have customers come in and like, hey, do you have any broken Game Boys? And a lot of times I would sell them to them really cheap. And I finally got to the point, it was like, well, maybe I should figure out what's going on, what they're doing. And yeah, no soldering, no cutting. The kits, they go together really well. The company, Handheld Legend, I can't say enough things about them. They are really, really well run. I order stuff, I get it within 3 days. Um, just super cool, super easy. There's a ton of different kits, a ton of different shells. They have a bunch of different colored ones, like I did a glow-in-the-dark blue one today. But other companies have different colors too. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do clear ones, solid color ones, different colored buttons. You can pretty much do whatever you want. So, but yeah, that's a Game Boy Color mod with a TFT screen. The only thing that the verdict is out on right now is how long the batteries last versus originally. So, like I said, in order into Game Boy Color, I had an original Game Boy, and I know they always said that you get about 24 hours out of the 4 batteries. I want to say it was about 20 on the Game Boy Color, so I'm guessing it might be a little bit of a draw, but maybe not as much as you think, because the technology is a lot newer and it's probably a lot more energy efficient than the screen that they had in them back in the day. So, glow in the dark. Yeah, you want to see it? I can grab it for you. So I believe you have to charge it up first. I'm going to turn the light back on, and then I can show you what the IPS screen looks like too. I'm just holding it up to the light. That's why the screen's all wonky right now. Obviously, you can see. I forget I have the other camera. So, yeah. Slide this over a little. All right, so that off. And then, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not, but so yeah. Thus, this particular one was glow-in-the-dark blue. I can see it really clear from here. The camera's not picking it up very well. But I'm sure if you held it up to the light more, I can try to... yeah, I don't think the webcam's designed to pick up glow-in-the-dark Game Boys, right? But yeah, and then I'll throw the batteries in, and when you guys can see what an IPS screen looks like, we can cover that quick. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna take me a lot longer, so try to entertain you guys for a bit longer. And again, if you guys have any questions, I appreciate it. Always happy to answer them. Thank you. Yes, I do. I'm not sure. I know there's green and blue. There might be a purple. If you go to their site, if you guys, most of the people watching are my friends, or I consider you guys to be my friends, so I can do this for you if you don't feel you want to, or if you have questions, I can help you. More than happy to help out. So now this one I did today. It's an IPS, so like I said, I had to do a bunch of cutting. If you look, I'm going to turn the light on before I fire it up. So you can see the red wires coming out of the behind the select, the B and the A button. I had to solder those in, and then the screen itself. Probably once I turn it on, you'll be able to see it better. It's bigger, so I had to shave the. Oh, no. Is it okay if we turn the volume off on this now, so I'm not competing over Pokemon music? Oh, I know why I'm hitting the sensor buttons. I'm like, why does it keep going to the menu? Or maybe not. Okay. This one I will have to look at tomorrow, but... so this one, obviously a bigger screen. Like I said, this one's the IPS. This one has 2 sensors on the top. So the first one does the brightness, and this one has 20 levels or 10 levels of brightness. So I'm hitting it. You can't really see it go up, and then it'll go dark. And then over here, oh, this one's being really weird right now. It changes color. It's not picking up on the camera very well. If and then it also has if this is still working. I'm kind of wondering if a wire came out. If you hold the select and the AB buttons, it pulls up a menu. Which, there, it's kind of hard to see. Handheldlegend.com is the website. So you can see down at the bottom, it's timed out. There's a bunch of, maybe if I do this. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So this is the on-screen menu. Hold down the select AB buttons together, and then it's got a bunch of things in here you can adjust, including the position of the screen, which is very nice. So even if you didn't center the screen when you installed it, you can center it by doing the adjustments. Factory resets there. Looking at the screen here. Yeah, I think I have a wire came undone, but I'll have to look at this one. But yeah, that's the IPS, and this glow-in-the-dark shell was only $9. You need a special glass screen because it's a bigger screen than the TFT display. But yeah, that is it. Here's the website again, Handheld Legend. Super nice. They have, walkthroughs on just about how to do everything. They sell amplifiers, extra speakers. A lot of the stuff is kind of hard to find, though. Like, the handheld community has been booming ever since COVID, so there's a lot of people that do these. And joking around with one of my guys the other day, I said it's actually harder to probably find an unmodded Game Boy right now than one on an unmodded one. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had tonight. So any other questions or anything before I go? Like I said, I will be back on tomorrow too, so if anything comes to mind tonight while you're laying in bed or at work tomorrow, let me know. I can answer at that time too. Trying to think. Yeah, they have stuff for, original Game Boys colors, Game Boy Pockets, SPs, regular Game Boy Advance systems. Pretty cool site. There's a bunch of sites like that, though. I just happened to land on that one because they seem to be the most reasonable. So yeah. So that's that. I'll leave that.